Hey guys, it's Cody from Jessica and Cody here. And today we're going to be doing the first of many recent pickups. I got a good amount of movies this time. I got about 11. Without further ado, we're going to jump into the recent pickups, and we're going to be going in alphabetical order, and I'm going to try and talk about each one. First off, we have a movie that I gave to my wife as a present, Cinderella. This is a very cute movie. It's very well done. The way it's shot is amazing. The costume design is great. This is the best looking Cinderella live action film I've ever seen. It tells the tale very well. It pays homage to the original while also kind of being original and adding new things to the story. So this is probably one of the few Disney live action remakes that I've actually really enjoyed. Next we have a film that is a classic to many and a classic to me as well, and it's Finding Nemo. Grew up with this movie. It's heartfelt, it's touching, it's very moving, especially as you get older, it means more and more to you. I definitely think that my best viewing experience with this movie was the last time me and my wife watched it together, and we immensely enjoyed it. Very enjoyable, very fun. Just an all-around great movie that's great for families and kids and adults and just everyone. So definitely check it out if you haven't, and if you have checked it out, you probably own it just like we do. Next we have one that's kind of a funny story, and that is the Blu-ray of Forrest Gump. So I actually had this movie on DVD. We were going through the movie collection, kind of just getting rid of some movies like you do sometimes. And I think I don't remember if it was that we got rid of it on purpose or accidentally, but either way, we got rid of my DVD copy of Forrest Gump, and I was like, no, that was such a great movie. It hurt me so deeply. And so my wife was like, well, let's just, go and see how much Forrest Gump is, and if it's cheap enough, we'll just buy it back. If it's too much, we'll just save up for it and get it back for you maybe next month. And luckily this thing was only like $5, so it was very, very much a steal at that price. And my wife hadn't seen it yet, and I hadn't sat down and watched it with her yet, so this was actually kind of a win-win. I got the Blu-ray of it, my wife got to see it, and she absolutely loved it, so awesome movie. Next we have a film that was actually a present from my wife to me. She bought the Hunger Games movie collection. Awesome movie collection right here. Really, really love these movies. Very, very good. I know that the first two get a lot of critical praise and really good reception. The last two not so much, but I actually really have enjoyed all of the Hunger Games movies. I think this is one of the best young adult movie series. It has a beginning, middle, and end, and all of the movies are very well done. If I had to pick a favorite one, I'd probably say the last one was my favorite. I really liked the twists, the turns, how it pulled the rug from underneath me in lots of different ways. It was just very different from what I expected the last movie to be, and I really, really enjoyed it for what it did and what it pulled off. So, awesome series. If you haven't checked it out, I loved it. Next up, we have a film that I had never seen, but I was very, very interested in seeing it, and so it was also very cheap. I think this was another one that was like $5, and so we bought it, and that movie was Interstellar. Interstellar is a very, I guess you could say, mixed movie when it comes to opinions. I've met people who think it's Christopher Nolan's best film. I've met people who think it's his worst film. I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. I love pretty much all the movies that I've seen of his, and this one I really enjoyed. I watched it I think like 4 times. So this is definitely the movie I've watched the most out of the recent pickups. I watched it once by myself, I watched it with my mother-in-law, I watched it with my wife, and then I watched it again by myself because I just wanted to. Really, really loved this movie. It was very, very gripping emotionally, and it was very interesting. It was very compelling. The action segments in the movie were very well done, very edge of your seat, and it just looks beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful films I have seen. For an outer space movie, this is probably one of the best ones in terms of just how it looks. For me, I really loved the movie. I can understand why some people didn't particularly love it, but I couldn't get enough of it, so check this one out. Next up, we have a film that my wife really wanted, and so we got it, and that movie is Lady and the Tramp. This is one of her absolute favorites. It's such an endearing, cute movie with a really good couple in it with Lady and Tramp, both very likable characters with a lot more of a mature relationship than I was expecting. You really see their relationship grow and develop as the movie goes on, and by the end you just want them to be together. And it's a very simple story, but that's part of the reason it works. It's so effective and heartfelt and simple that it really won me over. And this is probably one of my favorite older Disney films, so I'm really happy that we we got to watch it. I'm glad that my wife insisted that we get it, because I probably wouldn't have watched it again without her insistence. So, great movie. Next up, we have another, I guess you could say, divisive film in kind of its opinions with people, and that's Man of Steel. Man of Steel came out with very mixed receptions. I remember seeing it in theaters and really enjoying it. This was actually, I believe, one of the birthday presents I got from my wife, and so I really loved this case. I mean, it's a steelbook, it looks beautiful. It's very simple, but I just think it looks really nice, really sleek. I really like the way it looks. And as for the movie itself, I really loved what the movie did. I liked how it kind of gave a new perception on Superman. It really showed the struggle of being Superman, of trying to understand who he is, how to understand his powers, his place in the world. Should he use his powers? Should he keep them secret? Just so on and so forth. I would say the first half of the movie is really, really good. I was really gripped. The second half, even though I enjoy it, I do think there's a little too much action. It's basically like you get all the story and all the character development and everything kind of explained in the first half, and it's just action scene basically until the end, where they do a little bit of, wrapping things up and conclusions. But I really enjoyed this movie. It was a lot different than any other Superman movie, and that's part of the reason I liked it. We'll always have the older films, but I'm glad that they made this one as well. So if you hated it, I would say give it a second chance. You might find that you like it more with a fresh set of eyes. Next up, we have another classic film that me and my wife were like, why don't we own this yet? And that was Monsters, Inc. This is such a wonderful movie. It's funny, it's heartfelt. It always gets to me. It always makes me cry at the end when Boo and Sully, when they're saying goodbye, and then at the ending again when he opens the door and she says, Kitty, man, this is one of the few movies that can make me cry like a child. So, definitely a good film, I'd say. If you hadn't seen it, buy it. Honestly, you won't regret it. My wife is coming home. Hi, beautiful.
Are you videoing?
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
It's cool, I want to kiss. I can always edit this out. Or maybe I'll keep it in, because heck, they'll see your beautiful face. Mwah. This is my wife. How'd I get her? I don't know. She's a lot prettier than me. Next up on the recent pickups is, I'm a huge Muppet fan, and we got Muppets Most Wanted. I love this movie. It's bonkers, it's crazy, it's ridiculous, it's hilarious, and I love every minute of it. This movie, if you're a big Muppet fan, I think you'll really enjoy. It's got all the Muppet charm and humor and wit and everything in it, but if you're more into the heartfelt Muppet films, it's probably not one you're gonna like. It's basically a straight up comedy with a little bit of heart, but it's not really the focus. But if you are a Muppet fan, I think you'll really dig this one. Be sure to get this version, the unnecessarily extended edition. It's like 2 hours, which is the longest a Muppet film has ever been, but it actually doesn't feel like 2 hours. It's hilarious. I love it. In what other movie will you have an evil frog uppercutting a guard? I ask you. No other movie. Next up, we have a movie. This one's actually my wife's movie, basically. She loves this movie. I enjoyed it too. And that's San Andreas.
Yeah, I love that one.
See, she's putting her opinion in. She loves this one. She loves The Rock. I think that if The Rock ever asked her to divorce me and marry him, I might be in trouble.
No, I wouldn't.
I know. But this movie's a lot of fun. It's a disaster movie, basically, with The Rock. You kind of get what you come for with this one. But I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. I liked a lot of the big action set pieces. There's lots of memorable action scenes and moments. Most of the characters are likable and understandable. And just a good movie. My wife definitely loves this one more than I do, but still very good. Next up, we have a movie that I love that I think my wife tolerates very, very well. And that movie is Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. So if you are a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, chances are you've seen this one. If you're not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, probably don't watch this then, because you probably wouldn't like it. But if you are a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, this one's great. It's a really great continuation from the original anime. It's surprisingly very heartfelt. The villain's actually pretty threatening. It's an awesome experience because it actually feels like a movie. With a lot of the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Movies, they've been fun to watch, but they haven't really been rewatchable because they don't feel like important stories. They don't feel like movies. They just kind of feel like, hey, here you go, here's a big, expensive movie for the fans that looks a little bit nicer than the anime. Has a bit longer battle in it that you can enjoy, but beyond that, most of the other movies don't really work as movies, whereas this one feels very much like a movie, and I'd say it's the best Yu-Gi-Oh movie that I've ever seen, and it's one of my personal new favorite movies. I think I've rewatched this one like 3 times already, so I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So as you can see, did pretty well these last couple of months. I think we got a total of like 11 movies. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Cody from Jessica and Cody here, signing out.